In today's video, I'm going to be discussing $652 extra on a monthly basis as it pertains to Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, spousal, and SSI beneficiaries. I have all the details for you here in the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. First off, thank you so much for liking and sharing this video with those buttons right down below. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well with the subscribe button right down below. Again, thank you so much. I'm here for you every single day, watching the headlines and doing all the research and breaking it down in these short videos. A lot of things are changing, and I think we all can recognize it's a busy year and a lot of things are happening right now, right? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and thanks for your support. Really appreciate it here on the channel. All right, so let me share with you the details of a couple new reports that were released and pointing toward $652 extra on a monthly basis as it pertains to all the millions of beneficiaries I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Now, this is actually kind of nuts. However, at the same time, probably not all that surprising considering I think we know what's going on here, right? And over the last several years, this has been very evident, especially with all the information that's been released. Either way, I want to break down this extra $652 on a monthly basis, not annually, but every single month, which, by the way, I want to make this very clear from the very start here. No, as of right now, we are not getting an extra $652 a month right now. However, I want to point out the details of this report because I can tell you this much. You're supposed to be getting, on average, $652 more per month right now based on what's going on. That's a lot of money. That's like, what is that? 70, what is the math on that? I don't know, $7,900. Is that right? $7,900, $7,800 more a year? I think my math is right on that. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but almost $8,000 more per year? That's nuts. That's like serious money right there, right? Anyway, let me explain exactly the details behind this. Okay, so it all pertains to your annual raises based on the COLA, right? Yeah, I know, right? We're all probably shaking our heads, sighing and thinking, oh yeah, the COLA, it's garbage, right? Well, kind of. I mean, here's the thing. The COLA is one of these things, it's a love-hate relationship. We love it because it's like, this is great. We're raising up our benefits every year, but we hate it because it's never good enough, right? You ever feel that way? It's just never high enough. We're always falling behind, and that's what it comes down to. But we're going to look back in history a little bit here, okay? So obviously right now, 2024 is when I filmed this video, right? But I want to point out the last several decades here, okay? So we're going to scroll back all the way around, or back to around the year of 2000. So we're looking back like 24-ish years from now, right? It's a long time. However, get this, over that amount of time, roughly the last 24, 25, 30 years or so, going back, a few decades here, we're looking at benefit increases, okay? Benefits have increased about 81% during this amount of time. Guess how much expenses have also increased? About 145%, a little bit less than 145% during that same amount of time, okay? This has a massive discrepancy. Now, this is actually what's interesting is that if the COLA actually would have been adjusted to reflect real price increases, and if the COLA actually would have been adjusted to the CPI-E, the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, versus the CPI-W, which is what we're currently using and have been using for all these decades, which is, by the way, the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. I've talked about that before in other videos, but that is the metric that they use to determine how much the COLA would actually be for beneficiaries. But rather, if they would actually use the CPI-E, which actually better reflects the living expenses for seniors or those people who live on a fixed income, essentially. Because here's the thing. Okay, as a fixed income beneficiary, do you fall into the category of an urban wage earner and clerical worker? No, then why would we use that metric, right? That's the thing, okay? So here's the thing. The CPI-E, that one actually better reflects the living expenses for seniors or basically fixed income beneficiaries, right? So anyway, going back this amount of time. So, right, again, I get it. It's a couple decades ago, right? It's a long time ago. Why? Good old Y2K, right? Remember those days? Everybody was stacking up like water and food and firewood and all kinds of weird stuff like this because computers couldn't figure out how to make 2000 or something. I don't remember what was going on, but people were freaked out anyway. But my point is, nothing happened, right? But that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. But my point is, okay, going back this far, couple decades, right? 2.5, 3 decades or so ago, we see the prices have increased about 145% over that same amount of time. Meanwhile, benefits have only increased about 81%, give or take a little bit, right? So as a result, based on the CPI-W and the CPI-E, if we actually would have gone back and adjusted prices to, if we would have adjusted benefits to real price increases over this amount of time, and we would have adjusted it accordingly to the CPI-E versus the CPI-W, this on average would have been translating into today $652 on average per beneficiary per month more in your monthly benefit checks. Do you think that'd be a little life-changing? Yeah, right? I don't think we need to say that again, right? I think that's very, very clear here. So, again, I want to emphasize really quickly, this is on average. This is what they're talking about on average that this would translate into. $652 on average per month. Now, here's the thing. Some people could be sitting at $200, $250. Some people could be sitting at $1,000. Well, my point is, another thing too I want to point out really quickly, and again, you know this, I've mentioned this before, and you're smart. I know you are, because as a fixed income beneficiary, you're very savvy with money, things like this. I know this, but time and compounding, okay? So if they would have actually reflected real price increases and as represented by the CPI-E over this amount of time, again, 24, 25, 30 years of this amount of time here, that these benefit checks would be significantly higher, again, at a pace of about $652 a month more. Again, why? How? I don't get it. If we're only talking about, 1%, 1.3%, 1.4%, 2% maybe, 0.3%, something like this, higher than what we typically got on our benefits, how? How would that translate into, $652 more per month on average? Here's why. Time and compounding. I've said this before in other videos, but here's what it comes down to. Time and compounding translates into a lot of money, especially over a long period of time like this, where we're talking, 2.5 decades, nearly 3 decades of time here, right? This translates into a lot of extra money, because think of it this way. Simple compounding is this, okay? If you get a $1,000 monthly benefit right now per month, if you got a 10% increase on that this year, you would then be getting $1,100, okay? $1,100 is what would be a 10% increase. Okay, cool, that's just 1 year. Now, if you got a 10% increase again on a $1,100 monthly benefit, now you'd be getting, what is that, $110 a month? More? I think that's right? Okay, so now you'd be getting $1,210 a month going forward, right? Now, if you ran the same yeah, my math is right. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm second guessing my math here, okay? I'm just calculating in my head as I go, okay? So give me a break if I'm off a little bit. But now, if you applied another 10% increase on that yet again on an annualized basis, another 10% increase on that would be compounded. It would be, what is that, $121 a month more, okay? So now on year 3, you'd be getting, again, just running the math here, 1,000, what is it? 1,000, man, I'm confusing myself here, okay? Anyway, you get my point, okay? I should have ran the numbers more effectively before I started filming this, but you get my point, right? So compounding is incredibly important when it comes down to running all these numbers, and time and compounding translates into a lot of extra money on an annualized basis, and over long periods of time, it adds up really fast, right? Because the raise that you get every year because of your COLA is compounded on top of the previous year, right? This year will be compounded again and again and again. So any raises that we would have received, say 5, 15, 10, 20, 25, 30 years ago would still be compounding now. And we'd be talking about a lot more money. In this case, like they say on this report here, $652 on average is what it comes down to. See what I'm saying here? So that is how that could be achieved. Now, this would not be able to be achieved in just a small amount of time, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10 years maybe? No. Unless we got massive raises, that just wouldn't happen. It's just not feasible. But when we're talking 25 years, 30 years of time, yeah, it doesn't take all that much of an increase, all that much more of an increase over that amount of time compounded, and now we're talking a lot of extra money. So this is interesting. And again, I just want to throw this out there really quickly. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I want to throw this out there really fast here, okay? We've known for a very long time that Social Security has some massive financial issues, okay? They reformed Social Security back in, 1983 because of the insolvency issue, right? Do you think that maybe a little of this is, I don't know, maybe by design, because they look at the situation of Social Security and they're like, hey, we know that this program is going to be all messed up, financially for a long time here. The program's going to run out of money. Do you think that they've been lacking on making some of these essential decisions for the beneficiaries, knowing that, hey, if we do this, it's going to draw the trust fund faster, and it'll come, insolvency will come even faster in the event that we reform this, and if we actually adjust benefits to adjust for real price increases. Again, I don't want to jump out on some conspiracy and be like, oh, they're acting against the beneficiary, but it does make me wonder a little bit. Are they possibly not doing the best reform or changes to the program, as in lawmakers, by the way? That's what, when I say they, I'm talking about lawmakers. Are they purposely maybe, neglecting the program a little bit because they know this is just going to lead to insolvency even faster, and then they need to come back and do something again to the program and fix it up or make major changes? Again, I don't really know. I'm not really sure what's in the mind of lawmakers. I'm just saying it just seems kind of interesting how, why is it every year that the COLA falls behind? Why does that happen every single time? How can they get it wrong every year, right? I don't know. It just seems a little odd that we know that this is happening. Again, it's no shock, right? As of this year, get this. The COLA that we got at the beginning of this year, again, I'm going to wrap this video up here in just a second, but the COLA that we got at the beginning of this year, the 3.2%, this was behind. We were already behind on that 3.2% as of March. March was a long time ago, right? So since March, once we turned over to March, and basically because of March inflation, ever since March, we've been behind, right? So guess that, right? The COLA that we got this year was good basically the first 3 months of the year, and then we were behind. That's it, right? It got us 3 months through the year. That is it. So we've been behind ever since. That's a long time ago. I'm sorry, but beneficiaries have been struggling. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's every day, it's every week, it's every month. But the situation is, we can clearly see that these COLAs, especially during the high inflationary time like we're going through right now, and the last couple of years here, it just doesn't work out, right? The equation does not work here. So anyway, when I come across reports like this, I like to share them with you so you can see what's actually going on. So again, if you have not done so, please like the video down below, give it a big old thumbs up, share the video. There's a share button right down below with your friends on social media. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Also, as long as you're down there, if you have not done so, subscribe to the channel. 100% free to do so. Always has been, always will be. Go and check out any of the videos here on the channel. There's thousands and thousands in the video library, almost 5,000 videos. I know, nuts, that's a lot. And check out any of the videos in the description or the top of the comment section that I've hand selected for you down below. Otherwise, right now, pop on your screen, you'll see some videos there. Check out one of those. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one. And I hope this helps you better understand the situation. And leave your comments, questions, feedback down below. Otherwise, I'll see you again later.